Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Wyman Grover. I write under the name S.L. Wyman, and this is S.L. Wyman's Rock and Writing. If you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back. On this channel where I talk mostly about writing, music, a lot of nerdy stuff, a lot of tarot stuff. Mostly because that seems to be the most accessible thing right now. But what this video is going to be is a continuation of my Starman Tarot series because I've kind of fallen off the wagon with that. I apologize for those who are following along with me. I had a lot going on. Went to sleep one day with a migraine on the last day I was supposed to do this. Thought I would sleep that off. Woke up sick. Spent the next week having to work 10-hour shifts while still sick. And then the husband got sick. So we had to wait almost a week for him to get better. And then my father-in-law went into the hospital for a little bit. And, has not been feeling the best. He is well and on the mend as far as we can tell. So, no worries there. But just so you know where I've been and why. This is why the videos have not been coming as frequently as I would hope. And I do apologize for that. Normally I'd be doing a couple extra cards, which I was going to do to pick up the pace too, but, just don't have a whole lot of spoons today, but we're going to get this video out and we're going to look at the next couple of cards and, I'll see what I can do further down the line to keep this rolling along. Anyway, without further ado, and, appreciate your patience, let's go ahead and get into these cards, shall we? And we are past the first few. We are now at the very end of the first septenary of the Major Arcana. The next card we're looking at is the Lovers. Now this one, I'm going to have to break down real easy and probably show you this several times because there is a lot. And my camera is not going to focus real great on it. There's a lot going on here. Warning for potentially explicit images. This one in particular, no holds barred. It is what it is. So, just thought I'd throw that out there. Okay, so let's start dissecting this and see what we got. It's one of the busier cards yet, to be honest, in my opinion, because there is just so much going on. I mean, first of all, you have every color of every chakra and every interpretation of every color of every chakra that you could possibly want in this card. You have your teals, your blues, your greens, pinks, purples, reds, oranges, yellows, because obviously when you're either all in or you're all out sometimes when it comes to love and to choices too, because I know a lot of us tend to look at Lover's card more as a card of choice, right? This one does tend to focus more on the romantic aspects of it, according to the book definitions. And that's something that will take time and really deep dive into one of those book definitions. I think I might like to do that with possibly the Hermit when we get to that one, because the Hermit is always one of my favorite cards. Maybe not in this deck, but I do love the Hermit. So let's break down. Well, first of all, until I read the description, I didn't know there was a spider in it. Which, lovely. What knows me knows I'm arachnophobic. I did not need to know that. But yeah, it's chilling out right there in the corner. I personally, because I do not like spiders, see that as a warning of how insidious toxic relationships or toxic choices can be. Obviously, we have the bees and honey dripping instead of, yeah, I don't think I need to get explicit. I think y'all can kind of get that. Yeah, they're using honey and honeycombs and bees as a metaphor for other things, clearly, and bees, obviously are a collective. They work together for the collective in order to produce the best results, right? And if you're in a relationship or trying to make a choice, you do want the best. You do want to collaborate. You do want to try to bring the best of everything together. And that's a lot about the description of what this card is about. We'll do one more quick showing of it. It's also kind of hitting at a little bit of, the kink scene there, but we're not gonna delve into that. You guys are adults. You know where that goes. Hey, you can Google things. We won't dive too far into that simply because A, we'd be here for a very long time if I picked apart every little thing in this card, and B, not everyone is comfortable discussing that right up front just because I happen to be. So we're just gonna we'll leave that one at some metaphors and to trust you guys' intuition to kind of make the intuitive leaps from there. But it's also talking about just making good choices, taking the good and the bad, and melding the best parts of you and your partner in order to make a stable relationship, right? Also, another thing to draw attention to, bullet holes. And there's one right through the person. You can see right here. And those are kind of an allusion to how painful and dangerous and obsessive, the darker side of love and the darker side of making choices and choosing your partner and making commitment. That can be difficult. And obviously he, wanted to go for an urban setting because that's more where we're at nowadays. And just, third eye above him, we got the little eye up here with all the, open communication. Again, this is one of those extremely loud cards, just color-wise. I mean, you can see, oh, hey, there we go. If I hold it back here, it focuses real well. Yeah, you can kind of get where that's coming from about your choices and about, making the best of what you've got available. And the next one is a little less busy, and a little more straightforward, which is kind of nice for this deck, and that's the Chariot. We'll go ahead and, first of all, we'll stay back here so it'll focus real good. And then I'll see if I can bring it in a little bit so you guys can get some details. It might be a little blurry. I apologize. Let's see a little bit more limited color palette on this one. First of all, I love the fact that the Chariot is kind of that blend of mechanical and organic. I think that's very cyberpunk, very steampunk, very cool, kind of a neat illusion. The animals that they're alluding to, though, that are pulling it are actually Komodo dragons, which I thought was kind of cool, instead of the usual horses. But it's a very similar vibe of, very powerful impulses, powerful needs, wants, whatever that may be, pulling you in a couple different directions, and you having to be stronger than that pull in order to direct it in the direction that you want to go, right? And obviously, because you got a lot of purple and a lot of gold or yellow for the solar plexus and a lot of violet, so I'm seeing this as a lot of third eye and crown. You have to be tuned into your intuition, and you got to trust your gut. And, lead with your heart, because you have the green on the ground in order to be able to make those good choices and in order to be able to have that strength to keep it moving forward. Okay, this is the direction we're going. Let's direct our energies that way. And, he's got everything he needs to make that happen. He's got the sword, and he's got his ideas, and he knows where he needs to go. So I find that very cool. Like I say, this is one of the easier ones. I mean, still very loud, still a lot of detail, and still kind of harder to track at times than, more simple versions of the Chariot, but I still find it really, really compelling and a really decent, if a little unsettling version of the Chariot. I mean, that whole human techno animal merger hybrid thing, it can wake some people out, and it's not necessarily the most comfortable collection of things to put together through an image, but it's the one thing I like about this deck overall is that it takes those risks and that it kind of takes you out of that comfort zone a little bit and makes you think about things a little differently. Because again, David DeAngelis is a huge music fan, clearly. I mean, obviously most of these images were created for David Bowie, inspired by his works and by comic books and cyberpunk and all of the stuff that was going on in the late 70s, early 80s, was inspired by it, even though obviously this deck came around later. But it's still very much inspired by that period. And those are a lot of the themes that come with that era, of the music. They're pushing the boundaries of, urban life. And what does that mean, us being urban creatures now, and pushing the boundaries of, our relationship with authority, with, government, with, the ties that bind us to tradition, to family, to this whole socioeconomic system we've got going on, right? It's kind of challenging some of those. It's kind of making us look at all sides of it. It's showing us different sides we didn't know existed. Like, again, with this Lovers card, as busy and as difficult as it is to take everything at once, it's trying to encompass all of it, because love can be an addiction. Love can be destructive. Love can be toxic. Love can be painful. It's not always good. But you can't not take the chance, because there's a lot of sweetness there. Love can be very sweet. Love can be very timeless and enduring. And it can inspire us to be the best person that we possibly can be, and to make better choices because of it. And again, back to one of the definitions that a lot of us will put on the Lovers card is choice. So, again, I really find, just, to kind of wrap this up, I really find the way that this deck so far and in general, one of the reasons I wanted to do this study is because this deck does not rely on completely those old, tired, tried and true images and depictions of certain cards. A lot of them, it likes to push those boundaries, especially when we get into the courts. You're going to see a lot of that. Like, Prince of Swords is my boy. You're going to see why when we get there, because if there is a punk goth representative anywhere in this deck, that's him. But that's for another day. So, and again, I love that aspect, and bringing that in. I like the fact that he's bringing in all this popular culture. He's bringing in this urban, fantastical, crazy, futuristic world we kind of live in. And, challenging a lot of the notions we have. I think that's a very interesting way to have the imagery going in the deck. And I think it's important to have decks out there that do this. So that's a little bit on why we're doing this, kind of a retrospective on why we've been doing this and why I like it, and why I think it's interesting, and why I think this deck is worth getting into. So, but I'm going to kind of leave it on that note, just simply for time's sake, and also because I don't want to get too far ahead of myself or get too rambly. I want to try to keep this as focused as I can, despite, lack of spoons and sleep and all that other great stuff going on. I want to try to keep this as focused as I can for you guys, and as regular as I can. Hopefully, things will continue to lighten up where I can continue to do this once a week, and I will try to do more cards. We will take some time at some point and talk a little more in depth, probably at the end of the majors, before we get into the courts, about the artist himself, just flat out the deck, when it was created, what's the book like. We'll take a deep dive into that. I'll look more at the card stock, maybe show you a little bit of a shuffle and how it needs to be shuffled. We'll talk a little bit more about the practicalities of working with the deck a little bit, and my experiences with that a little bit, before we move on to the courts, and then we'll go into the minors suit by suit after that. So hopefully that sounds good to you guys. If you've made it through this far and you're picking this back up, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Like I said, trying not to keep this rambly, and I appreciate every single last one of you who's tuned in, subscribed, all of that. It helps. Appreciate you guys so much. I will hopefully be back next week. I've also got a crap ton of VRs and other things planned just to throw on the channel itself, but this will be going up and uploading within the next 24 hours. All things being equal and, good. Other than that, thank you so much. If you like what you see here, I would very much love to have you give us a like, comment, subscribe, follow along with this, share, all that wonderful engagement stuff. It helps the algorithm and me out, yes, but also I just like to hear people's thoughts. So I will also try to link the Abundant Life Tarot Facebook group, as well as the YouTube channel for Abundant Life Tarot. It's run by Kim, who is a wonderful, beautiful, fabulous individual. Any likes, subscribes, comments, and shares you could throw her way as well. Much obliged, because she is a gem and we love her around here on TarotTube. So, any of that sounds great, please, feel free to do that if you're so inclined. And I will catch you very soon. Looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say in the comment sections in all these different places. But beyond that, just wherever you are, I hope you're having a good day and be healthy and be safe, all right? Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.